Welcome into the PFF NFL Daily. Today discussing the great JaMarr Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals. Wide receiver through 7 weeks has been even better than we anticipated, maybe better than anybody anticipated. So, of course, we got to pose the question here, Sam. How good is he? How quickly is he getting that gold jacket? Now, really, where does JaMarr Chase stack up right now among NFL receivers?
Pretty freaking high, Steve. I think right now, Davante Adams is the clear number one wide receiver in the NFL. I think that's fair to say. But after him, I think there's a debate, right? We've sort of had some turnover. Guys like Julio Jones, who was the best for years, has been banged up. He hasn't been as productive yet in Tennessee. We don't know if he's ever going to get back to the player he was. Antonio Brown was the best along with Julio Jones for a long stretch of time. But since his kind of hiatus and now is more of a sort of member of a rotation rather than the clear number one, I think there's this kind of gap for that next guy up to be anybody. And I think Chase is in the conversation.
Let's go through the other guys that were there too. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know that he's dropped off so much as he just found a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Other people for Kyler Murray to throw to. I think Justin Jefferson might be in the conversation. I think it took Davante Adams a little bit of time to become Davante Adams. I think Justin Jefferson, in his pace, he's ready to become him by like year 2, year 3,
right
at that level. And who else potentially up there as far as like the very top guys?
I mean, I think Tyreek Hill is obviously still there, a very different type of receiver, but just the most explosive, most dangerous receiver in the NFL. The Chiefs offense isn't quite like singing the way it has the last few years, which you can hear more about yesterday on the PFF NFL podcast. But Tyreek Hill is still one of the best receivers in the NFL.
So let's put some perspective to where JaMarr Chase is right now. Through 7 weeks, 754 receiving yards. That's second in the NFL to only the great Cooper Kupp. Maybe we should have started with that. Cooper Kupp's actually wide receiver 1. Now he's part of that Rams cheat code in the slot, and they're scheming him open. Plus, he's really good. But JaMarr Chase is second in yards, top 10 PFF grade, 6 touchdowns. It's the explosive ability, though, 21.5 yards per reception. And most of those have been those downfield receptions, right? Straight go balls or whatever it might be. But then last week, he decides to catch a slant and run 84 yards through 4 Baltimore defenders. So adding that element to it, all I know is JaMarr Chase is finding a way to create explosive plays. And that's been the game changer for the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, he's been huge. So he's got the second most yards in the NFL this year, but the most ever for a rookie through the first 7 games of their career, like NFL history, the most. He's also number one in basically every deep ball metric that's out there in terms of production, yards, catches, touchdowns, all those kinds of things. Now, after this last game, leads the NFL in yards per route run. So he's got fewer yards than Cooper Kupp, but he hasn't beat marginally in yards per route run. The two of them have Deebo Samuel, Davante Adams beat. You look what he's doing. Somebody tweeted this out. Look, I mean, there was concerns in preseason, right? When he started dropping 4 out of 5 passes, started talking about looking for the laces on a football because there's no stripes on it. Those were weird comments. But I had to go back and find the first thing I tweeted about him when I was doing all my draft prep stuff. And I tweeted out, what is JaMarr Chase's weakness? Because I'm not seeing anything from his college tape. That's what you're seeing in the NFL. What is this guy not good at? And the answer right now is nothing. He's strong. He's fast. He's good at running routes. He's good after the catch. He's got good hands. He's making, contested catches, circus catches. He isn't not good at anything. Marlon Humphrey was going one-on-one with him for most of that game, and he made Marlon Humphrey look like a dude that doesn't belong in the NFL. And whether or not Marlon Humphrey's having a good season, he is one of the better cover corners in the NFL and couldn't come close to stopping JaMarr Chase.
I like that you went back to your first takes on Chase because mine came the year before he was draft eligible, right before he opted out. And I was watching all of the corners that he went up against. That was the year A.J. Terrell came out. And a bunch of guys around the league, and you're watching him. A.J. Terrell kind of hung in with Chase, but
he annihilated Trayvon Diggs, annihilated.
Yes, you're watching Diggs, you're watching Terrell, you're watching all these guys, right? And Chase is getting the better of all of them, and I was like, this is a bigger Antonio Brown. And the thing that peak Antonio Brown had was he ran 4.5 or whatever, but he just got open at the catch point. Even when a guy was on his hip, he would get open late, or he would, just get that nudge, that push off, or whatever, that legal push off. He just had that feel for getting open. And I think Chase has that. And you've seen that on a bunch of his deep passes, right? When we think deep receiver, we mention it on the podcast a lot. Deshaun Jackson and Tyreek Hill. You picture the guy that's got 3 steps on a guy because he's just faster. That's not Chase necessarily, right? I mean, he's got a step, or he'll have him stacked, but it's that late separation and the ability to just create enough room to catch the football that I think he has. And I think all of that has added up to what you just mentioned, right? The most receiving yards ever through 7 games for a rookie. JaMarr Chase has been just incredible so far.
Yeah, I had to go back and pull out the numbers from PFF's college database for the JaMarr Chase versus Trayvon Diggs game. And you can do that too. If you go to any subscription, get 25% off using the promo code NFLPod. But that game, Chase had 6 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. He got 4 and 88 yards against Trayvon Diggs and the touchdown. He got 2 for 52 yards against Patrick Surtain. So, like, 2 of the best cornerbacks that have come into the league in the last couple of years. Trayvon Diggs, a guy that people are talking about for Defensive Player of the Year. He was destroyed by JaMarr Chase in that game. I tweeted at some point after that, the kind of I don't see any weaknesses thing. I was like, look, his entire career essentially is one season at the college level. That incredible year, national title, Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. And obviously that's a small sample size. But if his entire career had been the 70 snaps of the Alabama game and then he just mic dropped and walked off and said, I'm declaring for the league, he still would have been a first rounder. Like, that tape alone would have had me put him in the first round.
JaMarr Chase is awesome, as is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. They got you covered this week because all new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. It's an easy win, and you win a chicken dinner. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't yet available in your state, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. I suggest JaMarr Chase. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and you win $200. No, don't hold me to that. $200 in free bets. Still a great deal. Am I legally binding here? $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. $200 in free bets. If I say it enough, it offsets the one mistake. Must be 21 or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. Only new customers, only minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required, 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tell me more about Chase.
Well, they make up the first 200. You make up the rest of it. I think that's
I'll pay the rest.
Literally the only concern, and it's not even a concern. I think that just the current pace he's on is a little bit it's a little bit unsustainable in terms of insane highlight reel plays that are going to come back down to earth a little bit over the course of the year. But like, he is absolutely for real. His game translated immediately. And I think, again, like, if Davante Adams is the clear number 1 receiver in the NFL, Chase is in that second group, which is now a lot of players deep.
Let's do a little A-B analysis here. Not Antonio Brown, but Joe Burrow throwing the deep ball last year. He was 9 for 48 throwing the ball at 20-plus yards last year for 293 yards. And again, we said, look, these things tend to fluctuate and all that stuff. And why do they tend to fluctuate? Because it's often a receiver-driven stat. Deep passing yards are the result are often up to the receiver, going up, catching the ball, whatever it might be. Now this year, so after going, for 48, 12 for 27 this year. 12 for 27, Joe Burrow for 479 yards, 6 touchdowns. That is the JaMarr Chase factor. So Joe Burrow, who was really good at every throwing to all other parts of the field, now they've got this deep passing component that, as I mentioned earlier, an absolute game changer for the Cincinnati Bengals, and a reason why right now they are, the number 1 seed in the AFC.
And by the way, he's one of the best graded blocking receivers in the NFL right out of the gate. Like, there was a play, I forget who it was. Was it P. Ryan or Joe Mixon's run where chases up the sideline, like blocking the defensive back into the end zone? There are not that many receivers that are that interested in blocking to the point where they will run 50 yards down the sideline just to get in the way of a dude and make sure your running back gets in, not you. So again, like, the guy has no flaws in his game, and this is 7 weeks into his NFL career.
I think we use the term force multiplier here a lot. I think a true wide receiver one is a force multiplier on an offense. We've seen that with Julio Jones through the years and some of these other guys that we've mentioned. JaMarr Chase is that guy. He's already proven it, off to a great start. So, final word, where does he rank now among NFL receivers?
I don't want to separate that second group. There's too many of them. They're too good. They're each going to have seasons that make the case. I think he's in that group behind Davante Adams as the next best receiver in the NFL somewhere. And I also think that he's got to be the front runner for Rookie of the Year, right?
Completely agrees. Front runner for Rookie of the Year. Quarterback type of award, but I do think if Mac Jones is the other competitor, JaMarr Chase is the guy. I'll say he's just off the top 5 right now. I think him and Justin Jefferson as young receivers both have a chance to be in that top 5 or top 3, though, by the end of the year. Let us know. Where do you think JaMarr Chase ranks among receivers? It's PFF NFL Daily.